with you guys, okay? You guys have a much higher standard than the rest of the guys we have out here on this campus. Live up to that, because I'm building you up really high. Get this, I'm getting it in. Come on. And then drink on it. So things like Veritas or Veritas-esque functions, like retreats. Even going to Mass. I mean, I believe it was my friend Kevin Schulte. He met his wife at Mass. Thank you, Rock. He met his wife, and he saw her at Mass, and he saw how beautiful she was. I think she was either about to receive the Eucharist or she was in adoration. That's what it was. She had just received communion, and he was so inspired by that beauty that he saw in her that he instantly fell in love. How better to fall in love than when we have God inside of our bodies, when we have love itself inside of our bodies. That is when we're most capable of loving in the first place. So Mass is a great place. Another one is friends of close friends. Remember that nice, close community of friends that I was talking about. If they are good friends, if you are surrounding yourself with good, close friends that are holding you accountable, then they probably know who would be a good match for you. So let them set you up. What do you have to lose? Especially ladies, you get a free dinner. Come on. And then finally, and this one may seem a little bit weird and a little bit creepy, Catholic dating sites. Okay? Believe it or not, I've been on them before, and that plays a little interesting story in our story. But Catholic dating sites are actually really nice. Yes, there are some creepers, because there's always creepers on dating sites. But there are some really good Catholic people there. We have a couple of friends that have actually met their spouses, now spouses, on CatholicMatch.com. Ave Maria Singles is also a good one to go to. So think about that. So say you found somebody that you like. All right, great. A friend of a friend set you up, or you met somebody here and you're kind of interested. What do you do now? Then we get to friendship dating.
This is the fun part, gentlemen. So before we get into where that plays into, the first thing I want to say is that friendship dating should be low pressure, meaning that it's just a meeting of friends. It's like, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. Hey, let's walk to Veritas together and just chit-chat. You know, it's just getting to know that person better. So there's no pressure in like, oh my gosh, God won't leave me alone. He's so weird. It's none of that. It's just two friends meeting up to get to know the person. It's low pressure. It's just two friends together. Oftentimes, a lot of what we did, and I had being this QT with cuties. It's cool. And it's just quality time. QT what? Yeah.
No, we didn't have the clementines.
But the thing is, it's just spending good quality time with somebody else. When I first approached Mom about pursuing her,
Or Michael made you.
Michael made me. I took her to Starbucks. I don't drink. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. But I knew she loved it. I got it. So we made her back coffee, and the purpose of that meeting was not only did I want to ask her if I could pursue, but I just wanted to talk to her. Her and I had a brother-sister date at the beginning of that school year. We were like, I haven't talked to you in a while. Let's go have dinner. Went to Panera. It was a whole lot of fun. There was no pressure because it was like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to date me. We were just talking. And we had a really great conversation. And now the whole dating site comes in. So she had a profile. And I had a profile. I had a profile for the sole purpose of taking the temperament test that was on there.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I looked at her profile more than once.
I told you there's creepers out there.
And one of the she had a little while, and one of the things she had on there was, I want a guy to pursue this lady. And so when I approached her that day, I said, it's time to get to the meat and potatoes. And that was our phrase when we were about to say something deep. Like this is real. Real talk is quote. It's time for meat and potatoes, and I asked her, can I pursue my lady love? Now, gentlemen, this is key. This is where you come into play. Because you have to make that initial contact 9 times out of 10 if you want anything to happen. The girls are waiting here like, a guy or a girl can initiate this, because at that again, it is just a friendship date, it's just a meeting of friends. Clearly there are some romantic feelings, so it's going to be a little different than meeting out with friends. You want to keep that in mind. The girl can initiate the first one. The guys, step up your game and initiate and dominate more or less that time. You need to be intentional.
And ladies, that's a really hard pill to swallow. I'm going to tell you right now. It is so hard to have somebody tell you, let him pursue you. Let him pursue you. You do not need to be in charge of this. And in fact, it's better when you're not. Not saying that we're incapable, but I mean, really. But really, you as a woman are meant to be pursued. You are meant to be chased after because that's how amazing you are. You're worth being chased after. You're worth being wooed, for lack of a better term. So let him woo you. And so we say, yes, you can initiate the first one. Make your intentions known. If you like him, let him know. Because guys are dense. He admits it all the time. I don't like that statement, but that's what he says anyway. And so we do need to make our intentions known. If you like a guy, let him know. But then you gotta drop it, and then it's in his court. That's a really hard pill to swallow, and it's a really hard one to take, especially if you struggle with pride like I do. I really struggle with pride. And it's a real test of humility to let him take charge.
Now, here are the don'ts of friendship date. Keyword being there, friendship. No kissing. You guys aren't dating yet. You guys are just friends. One thing you want to keep in mind is that when you're friendship dating, that it's not exclusive. You're most likely when you're friendship dating with a bunch of people the same. Okay, so keep that in mind. No handling. You guys aren't dating. No hugging. Extensive hugging. No long embraces. A quick hug. Oh, hey friend, good to see you again. That's totally okay. It's totally cool. It's totally kind of affection. But anything more than that, crossing some lines. One big way to sum this up is
don't lie to him or her with your body. Don't say that you're in a deeper, committed relationship than you actually are. So, kissing someone, that's saying you're a little bit more than just casual friends who happen to be interested in each other. When you intimately hug someone, that's a little bit more than a friendship. When you hold hands, you're breaking a physical barrier that's different than you would if you were a friend. And so you're communicating with your body essentially. You're saying one thing, but you're in a friendship relationship first. Don't lie with your bodies.
And probably the biggest thing with this is to avoid private intimate settings. You guys are alone, the lights are low, things went wrong. Avoid those situations because if there definitely is a mutual attraction, that's where you guys go. That's what happens. Groups are a good thing. Coming to things like this, when we hang out after this, that's a great time to get to know somebody. Great time to get to know somebody. If you come over to Fireside, there's people hang out there all the time. That's a great place to get to know somebody. Groups are always a good thing when you're in this friendship dating time.
I kind of mentioned this before, back in the whole are you ready to date thing, but you need to be detached. Ladies, I'm mostly talking to you, but I know guys are in there too. And in that you are not at this stage in an exclusive relationship yet. You need to protect your heart and say, all right, we're not there yet. I can't give him all of my heart before I know he wants it to go into an actual relationship. It's a little thing called emotional modesty. Okay? There's something, if we look at a woman who is not physically modest, we have her body hanging out for all the world to see. Well, emotional modesty is the same thing. You don't want your heart out for everyone to see because people will take advantage of it. sometimes unknowingly, and it'll get hurt if you go into it more than the other person does. Again, from experience. And I'm sure many of you have been hurt that way as well, where you put your heart out on a platter and they say, sorry, I don't want it. Yeah, high school rocks. So with this friendship dating, keep in mind that, again, you do not need this person. Yes, you like them. Yes, you are attracted to them. But you do not need them to be fulfilled. They are not a necessity. They're nice. They're probably a great person. But you do not need them to be satisfied. And this brings up a good point. Cameron brought it up before. This is your time to date around. Okay? Get a nice survey of what all is out there. If you haven't dated a lot before, maybe you want to see what do you want in a relationship. Do you want somebody who's really outgoing and bounces off the wall and, you know, is spontaneous or whatever? Or would you like somebody a little more stable, a little more yeah, right. A little more stable, a little more calm, a little more silently supportive. Figure out what it is you want. What are you compatible with? And then finally, again, I'm speaking to ladies here. What does it mean to wait? We may be ready to date. That whole 2 years, the freshman and sophomore year of my college career, I thought, oh, I'm so ready to date. I'm so ready to find my husband. I want to fill that last third of my soul. I really want my husband. But God didn't have him ready for me. He wasn't quite there. He was still getting ready. And so, it's funny because I went through a couple guys that I felt really hard for before Cameron. And I kept asking God, you know, I love this person, I want to spend forever with them, but they don't want me, and so my heart is just, why would you do this to me, God? Why would you give me these feelings and then not give them to me? You know, dark years, some of you. But it was in that waiting that God said, Marley, we're not ready yet. He's not ready yet. But when he is, it's going to be amazing. Because I have a plan for you, believe it or not. I know what is going to make you ecstatically happy for the rest of your life. I know what is going to bring you to a saintly life, or as much as you can get here on earth. I know who is going to help you reach me in heaven. You just have to wait for him. It's a huge test of patience. A huge test of patience. But know that God has a plan for you, better than you can even think of. And it's in that waiting that you see, well, we get somebody like you. So ladies, it may seem like we have to wait forever for a guy to make a move, right? We may say, hey, guess what? I like you, and then we hear nothing from them. It's important to wait. It's important to let yourself be pursued. Guys, man up. Like, seriously. Ed Maher, I believe, a couple years ago, had to give that talk to the guys around St. Thomas and say, listen, if you like a girl, you have to go after her. You can't just sit there twiddling your thumbs, hoping that one day something's going to happen where you don't have to do anything. If a girl needs to wait to be pursued, the man has to take that jump and pursue her. And shortly after Ed Maher talked to the guys, we had like 5 engagements. So